Speaking English with friends becomes easy when your sentences sound natural and simple. In this video, you will learn casual English used in real conversations with friends. Improve your confidence, speak fluently, and communicate comfortably without complex grammar. Just practical, everyday English for real-life situations. Casual English is the language of comfort, connection, and authenticity. When friends talk, they rarely think about grammar rules, complex vocabulary, or perfect pronunciation. Instead, they focus on sharing ideas, emotions, jokes, and experiences. This act introduces the concept of casual English and explains why it matters so much in friendships. Many learners study English for years but still feel uncomfortable speaking with friends because they try to sound too perfect. Casual English removes that pressure and allows natural communication. In everyday life, friends use short sentences, contractions, and informal expressions. Phrases like "What's up?" "You good?" or "Let's hang out" are common. These expressions may not appear in textbooks, but they are essential for real conversations. Understanding them helps learners feel included and confident in social settings. Casual English also includes tone, body language, and timing. A friendly smile or relaxed tone can make your English sound more natural than perfect grammar ever could. Another important aspect of casual English is cultural awareness. Friends often share references, humor, and slang that come from shared culture. Learning casual English means learning when it is appropriate to joke, tease lightly, or speak casually without sounding rude. This act emphasizes listening carefully to how native and fluent speakers interact with their friends. Observation is a powerful learning tool. Casual English does not mean incorrect English. It simply means flexible English. You still communicate clearly but in a relaxed way. For example, instead of saying, "I am going to attend a movie with you," a friend would say, "Let's go watch a movie." Both are correct, but one sounds more natural in a friendly context. By the end of this act, learners understand that casual English is about connection, not perfection. Every conversation starts with a greeting, and with friends, greetings are usually informal and warm. This act focuses on how friends greet each other in English and how learners can use these greetings confidently. Common casual greetings include "Hey," "Hi," "What's up?" "How's it going?" and "Long time no see." These phrases help start conversations smoothly and naturally. Using the right greeting depends on context. Seeing a close friend after a long time might call for "It's been ages," while meeting a friend online could start with "Hey, what's going on?" Tone plays a big role here. The same words can sound friendly or distant depending on how they are spoken. Learners should practice saying greetings with a relaxed tone. Openers are short sentences that continue the conversation after a greeting. Friends often ask simple questions like, "How was your day?" "What are you up to?" or "Anything new?" These questions show interest without being formal. Responding casually is equally important. Instead of long explanations, friends usually give short, honest answers such as "Pretty good," "Not much," or "Just busy with work." This act also highlights greetings to avoid in casual settings. Formal phrases like "How do you do?" or "It is a pleasure to meet you" sound strange among friends. Understanding this difference helps learners avoid awkward moments. Practice exercises in this act encourage learners to role-play greetings with friends, focusing on tone and comfort rather than memorization. Small talk is the foundation of friendly and casual English conversations. It may seem unimportant, but in reality, it is one of the strongest tools for building comfort and connection with friends. Most friendships grow through simple, everyday conversations rather than deep or serious discussions. Learning how to talk about daily life in English helps learners feel relaxed, confident, and socially connected. In casual English, friends usually talk about routine topics such as work, studies, daily schedules, food, weather, hobbies, or how their day is going. These topics are safe, familiar, and easy to relate to. Friends often use short and simple sentences like, "I'm really tired today," "Work was hectic," "Nothing special, just a normal day," or "I stayed home and relaxed." These sentences sound natural and do not require complex grammar or vocabulary. One common mistake English learners make is trying to sound too formal while talking to friends. For example, saying, "Today was extremely exhausting due to professional responsibilities," sounds unnatural in a friendly conversation. A friend would simply say, "Today was really exhausting," or "Work drained me today." Casual English values clarity and comfort, not sophistication. Small talk is usually brief. Friends give short updates unless the listener shows interest. If someone says, "My day was rough," the listener might respond, "Oh really? What happened?" This shows interest and keeps the conversation going naturally. Casual conversations grow step by step, not all at once. Fillers are a natural part of spoken English among friends. Words like "you know," like "I mean," "kind of," and "I guess" help speakers think while talking and make speech sound more relaxed. For example, "I was kind of tired, so I didn't go out," sounds much more natural than a perfectly structured sentence. Learners should not fear fillers. They are signs of real human conversation. Equally important in small talk is reacting as a listener. Friends often use short reactions to show attention and interest. Common reactions include "really," "that's cool," "oh wow," "sounds tough," or "nice." These responses encourage the speaker and prevent awkward silence. Good conversations are built on listening, not just speaking. Asking simple follow-up questions is another essential skill. Friends often ask, "How was it?" "Did you enjoy it?" "What did you do next?" or "Was it fun?" These questions are easy but powerful. They show that you care and are engaged in the conversation. Daily life topics such as food, entertainment, and routines are especially useful. Friends frequently say, "I tried a new restaurant," "I'm watching a new series," or "I've been busy lately." These topics are relatable and often lead to longer conversations. Sharing small experiences helps strengthen friendships. Complaining lightly is also part of casual English. Friends often talk about traffic, workload, weather, or stress. Phrases like, "I'm so tired of this traffic," or "I've got too much work these days," invite empathy. Typical responses include "Same here," "I know, right?" or "That's tough." This shared frustration creates emotional connection. Learners should also understand that silence is normal in friendly conversations. Pauses do not mean failure. Casual English allows space to think. Accepting silence reduces anxiety and builds confidence. The goal of this act is practice, not perfection. Learners should practice talking about their day regularly, even using the same phrases again and again. Repetition builds fluency and comfort. Over time, small talk becomes automatic and natural. By the end of Act 3, learners realize that small talk is not small at all. It is the foundation of casual English and strong friendships. When learners can easily talk about daily life, they feel more confident, relaxed, and ready to communicate freely in English. In friendships, sharing opinions and feelings is a natural and important part of conversation. Friends do not just exchange information. They share thoughts, emotions, likes, dislikes, and personal reactions. This act focuses on teaching learners how to express opinions and feelings in casual English in a way that sounds natural, respectful, and confident. In casual English, opinions are usually soft and flexible, not strong or aggressive. Friends often use expressions such as I think, I feel like, I guess, maybe, or honestly. These phrases help speakers share their thoughts without sounding rude or too direct. For example, instead of saying, "This movie is terrible," a friend would say, "I didn't really like that movie," or, "I feel like it wasn't that great." This softer tone keeps conversations friendly. Expressing likes and dislikes is very common among friends. Simple phrases such as, "I like it," "I love it," "I'm into it," "I'm not a fan," or "It's not my thing" are widely used. These expressions are short, clear, and natural. Friends do not usually explain their reasons in detail unless asked. Casual English allows people to share opinions without pressure. Feelings are equally important in friendly conversations. Friends often talk about how they feel emotionally or mentally. Common phrases include, "I'm stressed," "I'm excited," "I'm tired," "I'm nervous," or "I'm really happy about it." These expressions help build emotional connection and trust. Casual English makes it easier to be honest without sounding dramatic or formal. Friends also support each other by reacting to feelings. When someone says, "I'm stressed these days," a friend might respond with, "That sounds tough. I'm sorry to hear that," or, "Yeah, that can be stressful." These simple responses show understanding and care. Learners should focus on empathy rather than perfect language. Agreeing with friends is usually direct and friendly. Common agreement phrases include exactly, "I know, right?" "Totally," and "same here." These expressions help create a sense of connection. Agreement in casual English often comes with emotion and tone, not long explanations. Disagreeing is also part of friendship, but casual English handles disagreement gently. Instead of saying, "You are wrong," friends say things like, "I'm not sure, maybe, but I see it differently," or "That's not how I see it." These phrases allow people to express different opinions without damaging the relationship. Honesty is valued in friendships, but casual English keeps honesty balanced. Friends may use phrases like "to be honest," "honestly," or "if you ask me." These expressions signal sincerity while keeping the tone relaxed. Learners should be careful not to overuse them, as too much honesty without sensitivity can sound harsh. Tone and body language play a big role when expressing feelings and opinions. A relaxed tone, friendly facial expressions, and natural pauses make speech sound more genuine. Even simple English can feel warm and confident when spoken calmly. Another key feature of casual English is emotional balance. Friends do not usually exaggerate emotions unless the situation is serious. Phrases like, "I'm kind of upset," "I'm a bit worried," or "I'm pretty happy" sound more natural than extreme expressions. Softening words such as "kind of," "a bit," and "pretty" are very common. Practice is essential for mastering this skill. Learners should practice expressing opinions about movies, food, music, or daily experiences. Talking about simple topics builds confidence for deeper conversations later. By the end of Act 4, learners understand that expressing opinions and feelings in English is not about perfect words or strong grammar. It is about being natural, respectful, and honest. When learners feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and emotions, their English becomes more fluent, confident, and real. Humor, slang, and informal expressions are powerful elements of casual English among friends. They make conversations lively, relaxed, and enjoyable. Friends often use humor to reduce stress, build closeness, and create shared moments. This act helps learners understand how to use humor and informal language naturally, without sounding rude or confusing. Humor in casual English is usually simple and situational. Friends joke about daily life, small mistakes, or shared experiences. For example, saying, "I'm running on coffee today," or "My brain stopped working this morning," adds humor without being offensive. Learners should start with light humor rather than sarcasm or strong jokes, especially if they are not confident. Slang is a common feature of friendly conversations, but it should be used carefully. Words like cool, awesome, chill, okay, no worries, hang out, and stuff are widely understood and safe to use. These words make English sound modern and relaxed. However, slang changes over time and can be regional, so learners should listen carefully before using new slang words. Informal expressions help conversations flow smoothly. Phrases such as "hang on," "that makes sense," "it's up to you," "no big deal," and "I'm good" are very common among friends. These expressions often replace longer, more formal sentences. For example, instead of saying, "I do not require anything at the moment," a friend would say, "I'm good." Tone is extremely important when using humor and slang. The same words can sound friendly or rude depending on how they are spoken. A relaxed tone, a smile, and natural timing help humor feel positive. Learners should avoid forced jokes as they may feel uncomfortable or confusing. Cultural awareness plays a key role in humor. What is funny in one culture may not be funny in another. Jokes about personal appearance, family, or serious topics should be avoided, especially with new friends. Safe humor focuses on situations, not people. Friends often use informal exaggeration for fun. Phrases like, "I waited forever," "I'm starving," or "this bag weighs a ton," are not meant to be taken literally. Understanding these expressions helps learners avoid confusion and respond naturally. Teasing is another part of friendly humor, but it should always be gentle and mutual. Friends tease each other only when there is trust. Learners should avoid teasing until they fully understand the relationship and tone. Reacting to humor is just as important as making jokes. Simple reactions like, "That's funny," "good one," or laughing naturally help maintain flow. If a joke is not understood, it is okay to smile or ask, "What do you mean?" Practice is essential. Learners should observe humor in movies, shows, and real conversations. Repeating common informal expressions helps them feel natural over time. Using one or two expressions confidently is better than forcing many new ones. By the end of Act 5, learners understand that humor and slang are not about being funny all the time. They are about comfort, connection, and shared understanding. When used correctly, informal language makes English with friends more natural, confident, and enjoyable. Making plans and inviting friends is one of the most common uses of casual English. Friends regularly talk about meeting, hanging out, eating together, watching movies, or going out. This act focuses on teaching learners how to make invitations, respond naturally, and adjust plans in friendly, casual English without sounding formal or awkward. In casual English, invitations are usually short and relaxed. Friends do not use long or formal sentences. Common invitation phrases include, "Do you want to hang out?" "Let's grab coffee," "Are you free this weekend?" or Wanna watch a movie later? These expressions sound friendly and natural. Using let's is especially common among friends because it feels inclusive. Responding to invitations is just as important as making them. Accepting an invitation can be very simple. Friends often say, "Sure, sounds good, I'm in, yeah, why not?" Or, "That works for me." These short responses keep the conversation smooth and positive. Learners should practice saying these phrases confidently and naturally. Sometimes friends need to decline invitations, and casual English provides polite ways to do this without hurting feelings. Common phrases include "I can't today," "I'm a bit busy," "maybe next time," or "I already have plans." Adding "thanks for asking" or "let's do it another day" helps keep the tone friendly. Friends appreciate honesty, but kindness matters. Friends also change or adjust plans frequently. Casual English includes phrases like, "Can we reschedule?" "Something came up, let's do it later," or "How about tomorrow instead?" These expressions are normal and accepted in friendly relationships. Learners should understand that flexibility is part of casual planning. Suggesting alternatives is another key skill. If someone cannot meet at a certain time, they might say, "I can't today, but I'm free tomorrow," or "How about next weekend?" This shows interest and keeps the plan alive. Friends usually appreciate effort more than perfection. Time and place discussions are usually informal. Friends say things like "around 6, at my place, near the mall," or "let's see later." Casual English often avoids exact details unless necessary. Learners should feel comfortable with this flexibility. Group planning is also common. Friends may say, "Let's all meet up," "I'll text the others," or "Who's coming?" These phrases are useful in social settings. Casual English helps organize plans quickly without long explanations. Tone and attitude matter when making plans. Invitations should sound relaxed, not demanding. Using a friendly tone and open language makes others feel comfortable. For example, "If you're free," or "No pressure" reduces stress and keeps things casual. Practice helps learners feel natural. Role-playing invitations and responses builds confidence. Even simple practice like inviting a friend for coffee in English can make a big difference. By the end of Act 6, learners understand that making plans in English does not require perfect grammar or detailed sentences. It requires clarity, friendliness, and flexibility. When learners master casual invitations, their English feels more natural, social, and confident. Disagreements are a natural part of every friendship. Friends do not always think the same way, and that is completely normal. What matters is how disagreements are handled. This act focuses on teaching learners how to express disagreement politely and how to offer support in casual English without damaging relationships. In casual English, friends usually soften their disagreement. Instead of direct or strong statements, they use gentle phrases such as, "I'm not sure," "maybe," "I see your point, but," or "I think differently." These expressions show respect and keep the conversation calm. Strong phrases like "you're wrong," or "that makes no sense," should be avoided in friendly conversations. Listening is an important part of handling disagreement. Friends often show that they are listening by saying, "I get what you're saying, that's fair," or "I understand your point." Even if they disagree, these phrases help reduce tension and show maturity. Tone plays a major role during disagreement. A calm voice, relaxed posture, and open attitude can make even a difficult conversation feel safe. Casual English is not just about words. It is also about how those words are delivered. Sometimes friends choose to agree to disagree. Casual phrases like, let's agree to disagree, it's just a difference of opinion, or, that's okay, everyone thinks differently, help close the topic peacefully. This shows emotional intelligence and respect for the friendship. Supportive talk is equally important in casual English. Friends often support each other during stressful or emotional times. Phrases like, I'm here for you, that sounds really tough, you're not alone, or, I know it's hard, offer comfort. These expressions do not solve problems, but they provide emotional relief. When friends share problems, they often want understanding rather than advice. Casual English support usually begins with listening and empathy. Responding with, that makes sense, I can understand why you feel that way, or, anyone would feel like that helps the speaker feel heard. Encouragement is another key part of supportive talk. Friends use phrases like, you've got this, I believe in you, you'll be fine, or things will get better. These expressions build confidence and strengthen bonds. Apologies also play a role in maintaining friendships. Casual apologies include, my bad, sorry about that, I didn't mean it, or, that's on me. These phrases help resolve misunderstandings quickly without drama. Knowing when to stop a conversation is also important. Friends may say, let's talk about this later, let's drop it for now, or, it's not a big deal. These expressions prevent unnecessary conflict and protect the relationship. Practice helps learners become comfortable with these situations. Role-playing disagreements and supportive conversations in English builds confidence and emotional awareness. By the end of Act 7, learners understand that disagreement does not mean conflict and support does not require perfect words. Casual English allows friends to communicate honestly, calmly, and kindly. When learners master these skills, their English becomes more natural, emotionally intelligent, and relationship-friendly.